This year, all I want for Christmas is to actually meet my video upload deadlines. Welcome back, horror fans. I'm Leo, and Bootube Breakdowns is here to save your scary movie night. Right off the bat, Krampus scores a 6.4 out of 10, which lands it in our Ghoul Drool category. But here's the thing. I've already had to be eaten by a demonic worm jester thing just to get you the score, and in a few minutes I'll show you exactly why this film earned its rating. If you disagree with my score at the end of the video, be sure to let me know how much you want to fight a demonic tree topper, and then be sure to like, share, and subscribe about it in the comment sections. We start with the age-old story of incompatible sides of the family coming together for the holidays and just trying to not murder each other. Seriously, what's with the social pressure of hanging out with people that the only thing you have in common with is you share a dad with trash pull-out game? Anyways, our main protagonist, Max, tries to be a really good boy this Christmas until his cousins, uncle, and aunts show up to cause chaos. Tensions rise, kids fight, and Max ultimately gets angry enough to rip and throw away his letter to Santa. This kicks off an ancient curse where after the spirit of Christmas dies, Krampus, a malignant spirit, appears to punish Max and his family for forgetting the true meaning of Christmas. The premise is insanely simple. Max gets angry, loses faith in the spirit of Christmas, and Krampus shows up to spread misery to a family that, let's be honest, kinda had it coming. Krampus's minions show up to torment, torture, or murder the family members, all escalating to the big reveal of the big bad boss at the end, coming to whip everyone with iron chains and drag them to hell. It's structured as a siege horror movie, but sprinkles in the grandma's backstory with Krampus in her past. Ultimately, the story isn't anything special, but it doesn't really need to be. I would much rather watch a simple story than some pretentious chart house drama with pumpkins in the background. I appreciate that it's not pretentious, but it's also nothing special, and if I were to be completely honest with this one, it's just a hair above average. This is why I give the story quality a 6 out of 10. The pacing here is precisely what needs to be seen in a movie with a plot this simple. When there's a simple premise, it's very tempting for writers to overly explain and obsess over the minor details in the story. This usually plays off as a scene where characters sit in a dark room and cry about an irrelevant backstory, similar to what broke the tempo in The Autopsy of Jane Doe, link in the description. Instead, the story is fast-paced and flows pretty consistently. The spirit of Christmas is broken, the curse goes live, the storm outside gets worse as the monsters show up more often and get increasingly more violent, all culminating in a climax with Krampus at the end. It's not all eggnog and Christmas lights, since that story does have some structural problems that get in its own way. The whole plot point about letting 14-year-old Beth go outside into a record blizzard to check out her boyfriend is doing? I mean, seriously, what the hell? You're a 14-year-old girl from an upper middle class family, not a Navy SEAL. Go to your room and shut up. Anyways, this whole thing really only happens to show off Krampus, so it was dumb, but at least there was a little payoff. Also, the DHL guy did not deserve what happened to him. It's not perfect, but it's not the worst thing ever, and it's only minor things here and there that break the flow. This is why I think all of these factors place the pacing at a 7 out of 10. The movie is much more thematic than haunting in the grand scheme of things. It's supposed to be a horror-themed Christmas movie, but I wouldn't necessarily call it a scary Christmas movie. Don't get me wrong, there's a few genuinely scary elements to the story. The demonic Jack-in-the-Box was an interesting and rather original monster. The psycho angel bird creature was definitely an 11 out of 10 in the nope factor. And to be completely honest, the gingerbread cookies were one of my favorite monsters to see. But just like the movie showed, simply eating the cookies neutralizes the threat. Besides Krampus himself, the elves could have been a much more dangerous and menacing threat, but they simply weren't shown enough for me to even care about them. This whole thing plays off more like a dark comedy than an actual horror movie, and after a final cheap scare deduction, I give the fear factor on this one a 3 out of 10. I'm not afraid to say it. This movie is an instant Christmas classic. I loved every single bit of this universe as a whole. First off, the Krampus spirit is a very real thing, and he is hilarious. The scene where Max is crying and begging Krampus for a second chance, and Krampus just kind of starts laughing at him for crying, was one of the funniest scenes I could have expected. There's the whole trope of hitting the reset button since our protagonists learned their lesson, blah blah blah, and having everyone live happily ever after. The movie gets that trope, throws it out the window, and says, "Nah, man, you fucked up." It was definitely a welcomed change from the tired old trope, and the ending itself recontextualizes the film in a sense that made the whole experience a fun watch. The monsters themselves were definitely great, and honestly, my biggest complaint is that there weren't more of them, or at least more screen time with them. Also, I give bonus points to any movie that stops messing around and just shoots the monsters. It's not perfect, and there's a few things here and there that were awkward, but overall, I think I'm going to give the fun factor on this one a 9 out of 10. So here's the ending. Krampus's minions abduct the family in his magical sack, take the family to a pit of fire, which is presumably hell. Max follows behind. He apologizes to Krampus, asks him to give back his family, and says that he remembers the spirit of Christmas or something like that. Krampus and his minions laugh at him, toss Max into the pit, and then Max wakes up to a beautiful Christmas morning similar to the one that you would see in a Hallmark movie, where everyone is happy, opening presents, and being merry. As Max opens his present, he receives a black bell from Krampus, and the events of the whole movie replay in everyone's mind. The camera pans out to reveal that the family is stuck in essentially a Christmas snow globe time loop that they have to live out for eternity, which Krampus will use to torment them as a punishment. The camera continues to pan out, revealing many similar snow globes in what is supposed to be Krampus's lair. All of the creatures that were with Krampus pop up for a final cheap scare and roll credits. The story does not have a happy ending in any traditional sense, and creates a fascinating universe with this creature that left me wanting to see more. Honestly, if not for the cheesy scare at the end, I would have given this a point higher, but I'm willing to give the ending on this movie a 7 out of 10. So that's Bootube Breakdowns' take on Krampus. Averaging our scores gives this movie a 6.4 out of 10, which places it in our Ghoul Drool category. Do you agree with my rating? Scream your score in the comments and tell me what horror flick I should gut next. If this saved your spooky vibes, smash that like, share with your horror crew, hit that notification bell, and subscribe to Bootube Breakdowns for more killer verdicts. Keep it creepy, and I'll haunt you in the next review.